Welcome to the Wholesaling Freedom channel, where I teach you exactly how I quit my 9-to-5 job and built a successful wholesaling business and how you can do it too. If you're new here, my name is Ralph and I quit the rat race and became a full-time real estate entrepreneur, and now my mission is to help you do the same thing. So if you're trying to escape that 9-to-5 life, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to make sure you catch all the content that we're putting out. Alright, so you're out here putting in work on the weekends, in the evenings, or maybe you even quit your 9-to-5 and you're all in full-time looking for deals. Maybe you're driving for dollars, cold calling sellers, or even working with real estate agents. And then, boom, you finally find a motivated seller. But then you freeze. Reality hits you like a ton of bricks. Here you have someone ready to sell. They need to sell, but you have no idea what to offer. You're in a catch-22. You don't want to lowball the seller and lose the deal, but you also don't want to offer too much and end up with a deal that no buyer wants. So you start second-guessing everything. This is too hard. Maybe you weren't ready for this. Maybe you'll never get your first deal, let alone quit your 9-to-5 and do this full-time. Well, today, I'm breaking down exactly how to calculate your offers like a pro every single time so you can lock up profitable deals with confidence and get paid. Alright, so step one in trying to figure out what's the max you can offer a motivated seller, or your MAO, which stands for Max Allowable Offer, you will first need to figure out what is your ARV. Now I know I'm throwing a lot of terms out here, but stay with me, okay? MAO stands for Max Allowable Offer, aka the most you can offer a seller on a property. And step one with coming up with your MAO, Max Allowable Offer, is to figure out what is your ARV, or after repair value. The after repair value is the price the house would sell for after it's been fully renovated. To get this number, you need to find comparable sales, or comps for short. Here's how you do it. You want to look for similar properties that have sold in the last 3 to 6 months, and these should be apples to apples comparisons. Now, keep in mind, in some rural or smaller markets, you can go back as far back as a year. You also want to be in the same neighborhood, ideally within half a mile to 3/4 of a mile as your subject property, aka the one you're making an offer on. Again, in some rural or smaller markets, you can go out a bit further, even to a mile or a mile and a half. You also want to have the same number of bedrooms or bathrooms, or as close as you can get. Also want to have similar square footage within a 10 to 20% difference, plus or minus. And you want to make sure you're comparing the same property type. So no comparing a townhouse or a condo to a single family ranch. But here's something important to understand. ARV is not an exact science. It's an educated estimate. Some buyers will agree with your ARV and others won't. That's just part of the game. One buyer might see $250,000, another might see $220,000, and someone else could think it's worth $260,000. It's all about perspective, and that's why finding ARV is an art, not a science. At first, you're gonna suck at comping properties. Now, I'm just being honest. It's gonna feel like it's confusing and you might second guess your numbers, but that's normal. Just like with anything else, the more you do it, the more reps you get in, the better and faster you'll get. So don't get discouraged, just keep practicing, and soon you'll be comping like a pro. Now that we have our ARV, we need to figure out how much will it cost to get your subject property looking like some of those comps that you just found. We need to figure out the cost to fix it up. Now, this is commonly referred to as rehab costs, repair costs, renovation costs, and so on. Once you have your renovation costs, you need to subtract that from your ARV. Now, it's important to understand different markets have different rehab costs. A kitchen renovation in Los Angeles might cost $30,000, but that same kitchen renovation in Atlanta might only cost you 10 grand. That's why you need to understand your local market, or whatever market you're going to be wholesaling in. So, how do you estimate repairs without being a contractor? Well, here are 3 easy methods you can use. And remember, none of these are exact or 100% foolproof, but more so just a way to get you in the right ballpark to get your MAO and make a solid offer. The first method is the 10-20-40 rule. You take the total square footage of the house, multiply it by a certain dollar amount depending on the condition. For a light rehab, paint, flooring, maybe some small cosmetic updates, your repair cost should be around $10 a square foot. So for a 1,500 square foot property, your light rehab should be about $15,000. For a moderate rehab, which includes everything in a light rehab, plus kitchens, bathrooms, and maybe some new fixtures, your repair cost should be around $20 a square foot. So for that same 1,500 square foot house, your rehab budget will be around $30,000. Again, this will be more in high-end or more expensive markets. Lastly, on a major rehab where you're going to be doing all of the above, plus maybe a new roof, HVAC, or maybe it's just a full gut job, your repair cost should be around $40 a square foot. Now, sticking with our same example of a 1,500 square foot house, your major rehab budget on that property will be about $60,000. Now, the second method is networking. Talk to local flippers. Find active real estate investors in your market and ask them, hey, how much does it cost to rehab a 1,500 square foot house in this area? Many flippers are happy to share this knowledge with you because they know that networking with wholesalers leads to more deal flow for them. And if they teach you exactly how to price renovations, you'll be making solid offers and bringing them solid deals. So get out there and meet people. Go to meetups or meet people on Facebook, offer to buy them coffee, and learn from those who are already doing it. Here are some places to find local investors. First up, Facebook groups. You go to your search bar and search your city name and the words real estate investors, and you'll find at least a dozen or so groups to join. Find local real estate meetups and RIA meetups in your area. Go to Eventbrite or go to meetup.com. Check different investor websites like Bigger Pockets or Connected Investors, or talk to local agents who are either flippers themselves or may have clients who are investors. Don't be afraid to reach out. Investors love talking real estate numbers. The third method is what I call the 10K straight method. Every major repair, we price it at 10K. So if the house needs a new bathroom, 10K. Need a new kitchen, add another 10K. Needs new laminate flooring throughout the whole house, add another 10K. House needs new siding, add another 10K. New HVAC, new water heater, new furnace, an additional 10K. And you'll get it. Now, I'll be honest, this is not the most accurate way to price repair costs and may not even be accurate in every market or for every situation. For example, I'm in the Northeast market where this pricing is pretty accurate for the most part, or maybe a little overestimated in some cases, but that's good. You want to stay conservative. But if you're in, say, a Midwest market like Ohio or Indiana, then this may need to be adjusted down to maybe the 5K straight method. Again, this is not the most accurate way, but if you have a motivated seller and you need to come up with an MAO quickly and you don't have time to go and ask another flipper or find investors, then you can quickly come up with a solid offer by using this method to estimate your repair costs. Now keep in mind, with all three of these methods, you're still going to always have buyers who price their renovations completely differently. No two buyer is going to have the same exact rehab budget. This is just to get into the ballpark so that you can make sure that you have a profitable deal. Now let's talk about the 70% rule. This is how investors determine if a deal is profitable. The 70% rule is simple. MAO is equal to ARV times 70% minus repairs minus your fee. But here's the thing, the 70% rule is just a guideline. In some markets, buyers are willing to pay 75% or even 80% of ARV. And in other smaller markets or maybe rural areas that may not have a ton of flippers buying and selling houses every day, buyers may want to only pay 65% or maybe even less. So how do you know what's normal for your market? Drumroll please. Networking. Talk to local investors and ask them what percentage they typically buy at. Network with other wholesalers. They know what buyers are paying for. Ask them what formula do they use when locking up deals. Or you could even look at past wholesale deals and dissect them. Do some reverse engineering to see how the deal was structured. Now here's why we use the 70% rule in the first place. This is how flippers make a profit after paying for all of their other costs like interest on their renovation loans, realtor commissions when they go to sell the fixed up house, and holding costs like utilities at the property, taxes, and home insurance. Using the 70% rule ensures that there's enough meat on the bone to cover all of these costs and still make a return at the end. Alright, so now you know how to calculate MAO, which stands for Max Allowable Offer, but let's say you don't have any leads yet. How do you practice running numbers? Maybe you don't want to wait until you find a motivated seller to start developing this skill. So here's some easy ways to start practicing running numbers now. Look at fixer-upper deals on Zillow or Redfin. Run the MAO formula on them and then compare that to active fixed-up listings. Join a local investor group and ask a wholesaler for information on one of their past deals. Try to calculate MAO and see if it matches what the wholesaler locked it up for. Or find distressed properties in your area and run the numbers. Even if you don't have a seller, practicing helps build confidence. However, at the end of the day, the best way to learn is on a real deal. So once you're a little bit comfortable with running numbers, go out there and start finding motivated sellers. All right, guys, that's it. That's how you calculate your max allowable offer, your MAO, like a pro. Now go out there and take action. Find some deals, run the numbers, and start making your max allowable offer with confidence. If this video helped you at all, please hit that like button, drop a comment, and tell me what other wholesaling questions you have, and I'll use them to make future videos. And if you're serious about quitting your 9-to-5 and doing this full time, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because I've got even more coming your way. See you next time.